Hello there, peeps. It's just movies. Hello there, people. Sorry about that. This video is taking me a bit, but today I'm gonna do a rant on the MCU Hulk. MCU Hulk and MCU Thor. Just about how I think the MCU has sort of done a disservice to these characters. We're just gonna go through. I mean, I did one, it was like a few weeks ago or a month ago, on MCU Spider-Man and how they were ruining him. And I'm gonna do the same thing here with the Hulk. So I'm gonna start off with Thor. I was never the biggest Thor fan, but Thor was cool. You know, Thor 2011 came out, and like I said, it's not the greatest movie. It's definitely not one I'd rewatch. But I think, from what I've read of some of Thor, I've read some Thor comics at one point. But I think in that movie, he felt like Thor, His humor was, I'm going to smash the beer and crush it because he doesn't realize how strong he is. That's what his humor should be. Not dropping one-liners, which he eventually ends up being, and we're going to get to that. But he was cool, He looked like Thor. He sounded like Thor. I'm like, yeah, Chris Hemsworth doing a good job. And then even when he joins in the Avengers movie, yeah, he has a bit more humor in that, but he's still very much like kind of has his different humor. He's not throwing one-liners and whatnot. And then we get to Thor 3, Thor 2, sorry. Thor Dark World. And I understand a lot of people fucking hate this movie. I don't think it's great. I remember I was okay with it at the time. And I probably watch it now. It probably doesn't hold up. Much like a lot of MCU movies, by the way. But, give me a second. But much like in that movie, his humor was much different. It wasn't just one-liners. And he in that moment, though, when his mom died, I'm not going to lie, that was actually really good. I actually dug that scene where his mom died. The villain wasn't that great, I'll admit, but I didn't hate Thor 2 like a lot of other people did. And it's a bit dull, but Thor still was Thor in that. In those first two Thor movies, and even I'll include the first Avengers movie, and even a little bit of Age of Ultron. Thor was Thor, but Thor's not in Age of Ultron much, so I guess we'll just get to it now. Age of Ultron, I hate that movie, but Thor's not really in it much, I think. I don't remember he was in the final. No, he was in the final battle. They had that teasing of Ragnarok in that one scene, which they made it seem like Ragnarok was going to be this whole epic thing, and it turned out it wasn't. Oh, shit. But continuing on, Thor, and then we just get to him in Ragnarok. They completely make him a joke. I don't know what happened. Apparently I think it's because Chris Hemsworth behind the scenes apparently wanted to leave the role. It was because he was tired of playing it. But according to, I don't remember where I heard this from, but from what I hear was if they pretty much write him as a joke from now on, he's cool with playing him. So now he's throwing one-liners. And he's not even that cool in Ragnarok. He doesn't do. I mean, him getting that lightning power at the final act was cool, but that very much was just a Guardians movie. They ruined Thor. This is where the start of it is. What the fuck? Why is he a joke? Why is he acting like all willy-nilly, even though this is the end of Asgard and Asgard is dying, but but he still treats it like a joke. And then the fucking dumb thing when he gets fucking electrocuted when Tessa Thompson electrocutes him. How the fuck does that work? He's the god of thunder, but he gets electrocuted by a zapper. So all that really shows me is Batman can just beat him. Batman just needs to fucking throw like an electronic tack on his neck, and there you go. That is pathetic. Oh my god, even the ending, they tried with it. It just didn't work for me. And then we get to Infinity War, which it seemed like they were working to fix his character because he actually seemed like he was mourning his Asgard. He wasn't as jokey in that. Besides once he meets up with the Guardians, which that's fine. And like I said, I'm not against humor 100%, but Thor's humor was so much better in those first two movies because his humor fit him. Now he's throwing one-liners like everybody else is now. It's annoying. But then, sorry, my phone keeps falling. But then we have that really badass scene in Wakanda, which I thought, okay, now we're gonna go back to Thor being a badass. And then, he fails at killing Thanos and he snaps. The dude does snap, and now here we are in fucking Endgame with Fat Thor. Had it just gone like 5 minutes, had it just been one gag, fine. But when people try to tell me with a serious face, oh, it's about him and his depression, okay, why are you introducing him fucking cursing at a kid? Oh, fuck. The camera keeps falling. Sorry about that. Why is he cursing out a kid at fucking Fortnite? If you're gonna try to tell me this is you could have easily just done that and not have him be fat, because that was clearly just done to be a gag. And it's just like and it went the whole movie, even when he kind of gets powered up. And one thing I do like though, his long hair is back, but it doesn't matter. This showed me that Thor is just a fucking goof now. And it's really unfortunate. Someone who's not the biggest Thor fan in the world, but just seeing this, it's like, why? How come no one's calling this out? Oh, it's because it's funny, though, so it's not a big deal. But what Zack Snyder did with Superman, that's bad, right? But we're not going to call out Fat Thor. Okay. And just wait till I get to the Hulk, because it's even worse. But just, you couldn't tell me that it was done for a serious reason when the first thing he's doing is fucking cursing out a kid at Fortnite. Even though half the world is snapped out of... who's playing Fortnite right now? What the... And I get it, they were partnered with Fortnite. You should have did that with a different character. I would have even bought Spider-Man playing Fortnite. As much as I hate Iron Boy, I could buy him playing Fortnite because it's Spider-Man, but I understand he was snapped out of existence. But it just... Thor's ruined, and I fear that, and in Thor 4, obviously we're going to go with female Thor. What I think's going to end up happening is, I think they're both going to be Thor, but what's going to be fucking cringe is he's going to be the goof, and then Natalie's going to be the serious one. Yeah, they're going to have her, and I understand they did it in the comics, but that doesn't mean it's good. And I think that's precisely why they did female Thor. I'm going to stand by that. I think they only did that because they could say, well, it was in the comics, in the new comics, which don't fucking matter, in my view. Only old ones matter. Lady Thor was fucking stupid. And if there was a thing, it should have stayed in the comics. And I fear what they're going to do is they're just going to make him the goof and she's going to be the serious one. I think that's what's going to end up happening. Because Chris Hemsworth's got to play goof, which is fucked because he was in a really good movie, Extraction, which was on Netflix. He actually played a serious character again. But no, I guess with Thor, he wants his Thor to be a goof the whole time. I'm just so tired of it. Hold on. But continuing on, now we're going to get to the Hulk. Which sucks, because Hulk was actually one of my favorite characters growing up. In the early 2000s, the main Marvel characters were, for me, number one was X-Men. Then it was Spider-Man, still to an extent, because he still had the Raimi movies. And then it was the Hulk. Hulk was actually popular, and then you went going into... You had that really bad Hulk movie from 2003, which... I haven't watched it in a long time, but it was pretty bad. I think the action scenes were fine, but I remember Hulk was still big, and then we got the Incredible Hulk, which was amazing. I actually liked that movie. Yeah, it's a bit slow, But Edward Norton fucking killed it. And it's sad what ended up happening behind the scenes with him and why he had to leave. You know, it sucks because he was such a good Bruce Banner and a great Hulk. And he fought Abomination. Hulk was a fucking monster. Hulk was cool. You know, and then Mark Ruffalo came in. And here's the thing. I hated his look as Hulk in Hulk form. I'm still not a big fan of it. I just got used to it, you know, because he's been in multiple movies now. But he was fine in the Avengers. I actually think that was the only time I really liked Ruffalo's Hulk or was okay with him, was that movie. Because he was a decent Bruce Banner and a really good Hulk for that moment. Especially in the final fight when he was just fucking shit up. You know? His Hulk seemed cool. And then we get to Age of Ultron. His Hulk was still fine. Granted, he lost that fight against Tony Stark in the Hulkbuster suit. But he was still cool. And then he leaves because of, I think because of what happened in Africa. And then he comes back in Ragnarok. And I think this was slowly the start, but he was still kind of cool because that was like the only part of Ragnarok I'll admit that was good, was the Hulk Thor fight, even because it actually was decent. And Mark Ruffalo was still decent as well. That scene where he jumped down. Granted, I hated that he fell on his face, though, for a gag. It's things like that that really ruined that movie. But I still think he was a fine Hulk in that movie. Then comes Infinity War, and he gets bitched out by Thanos, and it never comes back. There should have been a fucking moment where he bursted out of this Hulkbuster suit. That's what I was waiting for. That would have been such a cool shot. No, that doesn't happen. It didn't work for me, and then Endgame, and I understand the excuse for what happened with him in Endgame. It's based off Professor Hulk. No, I mean, I guess loosely, but I even say very loosely, because Professor Hulk had his moments of hulking out still. He still looked like he'd fucking break you. That was another thing. What was that fucking spandex thing he was wearing? That just looked so bad. And even though this wasn't in the movie, him dabbing, like, what the fuck? Ugh. Oh. My God. Hulk's a joke now, man. He does nothing cool in Endgame. He should have had that moment when he found out Black Widow died, because they tried that romance, even though I don't think it was great. But if you're gonna have that continuity, he should have hulked out once he heard she was dead. And you can have him go at Thanos. Maybe just get some good shots on Thanos. You can still have Thanos win that battle, but what the fuck, man? No moment of hulking out. He gets his arm injured. He's a fucking joke the whole time. Ugh, they really have ruined my boy Hulk. Hulk was like I said, growing up, he was the shit. He was more, it was because also you did have that the Lou Ferrigno Hulk show at the time, so you know there was that, and then Hulk was easy to market. He was a giant green guy who smashed stuff. You had the Hulk gloves and all that. You went from that to making him a giant joke now, and I don't even care what they do with him at this point. I really don't. They fucking ruined him, and it doesn't help that Mark Ruffalo is a fucking twat in real life. They have really, the people love to praise the MCU, but they have ruined these two characters. But what Zack Snyder did with Batman and Superman, though, was bad, even though I'm not trying to turn this into a defend Zack Snyder thing, but it just bothers me what people will call out and won't. You won't call out what they did with Fat Thor and what they did with the Hulk because, oh, it was funny. Fuck that, man. They have ruined these characters. I have zero interest in either of their next projects because I already know Thor's going to be a goof still and Hulk's going to be not even the Hulk anymore. I mean, and that's what's the fucked thing about this. At least with DC, they're having, especially now, it's clear they're trying to go more this multiverse route. So we can at least have other takes of the characters if I don't like one. It's not going to happen with the MCU. The MCU, we're stuck with these versions. Unless, you know it's going to be a while till they ever do a fully straight-up Hulk movie. He might be in She-Hulk, I guess, but she's going to be better than him. And he's already bad. His Hulk is, to me, irredeemable. unless they do something and he goes back to being the actual Hulk, no. And people try to defend him, but it's character development. No, it's not. It's character regression. Hulk was only cool, really, in my opinion, the Incredible Hulk movie, and he was good in the Avengers, and then he's slowly gone down to where he is now. And Thor is a giant joke now. And he's a Guardians character. As much as I love those movies, it's unfortunate that's what they did. So, I just wanted to get that video done. My next video I don't know when it will come out, but it will definitely, it's going to talk about, since Scream 5's coming out, I want to give my little thoughts about what they're going to, what they're going to do with them, and what I would personally, what I want from a Scream 5, so that'll be my next video. But other than that, guys, I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.